Some faces strike an unsettling chord. They aren't monstrous or alien, yet their resemblance to humans invokes dread. You recognize that moment immediately. Something feels amiss. Your mind may search for an explanation, but your body instinctively knows this isn't correct. Psychologists refer to this as the Uncanny Valley, a deep-seated fear of near-human likenesses that aren't truly human. Why do we have such a visceral reaction to faces that are almost human? Our brains are ancient, molded by interaction with predators and prey long before technology or film existed. Could this instinct point to something more primitive? Perhaps it harks back to an era when other human-like species roamed the Earth. Some of these beings coexisted with us, others we interbred with, and some, tragically, we fought against. The Uncanny Valley might represent a powerful remnant of our past. Today, let's delve deeper into this topic. The concept of the Uncanny Valley was first articulated in the 1970s by Japanese roboticist Masahiro Mori. He observed a curious phenomenon. Empathy for robots increased with human-like features, but once a threshold was crossed, discomfort and revulsion would replace empathy. The robot's appearance became too similar, yet not quite right. Mori labeled this the Uncanny Valley. It's not just robots. People express the same discomfort toward wax figures, prosthetics, and CGI characters that fail to convincingly portray life. These near-human faces elicit an immediate and instinctive response. This instinct doesn't require conscious thought. It's automatic and embedded in our psyche. It raises an important question. Why do we possess this instinct? Our ancestors did not evolve in parallel with machines or movie monsters. They navigated a world filled with wild animals, unfamiliar landscapes, and other humans. Such strong and universal instincts don't develop in vain. They evolved because they served a critical function in keeping our ancestors safe. Consider the fear of snakes. Primates, including humans, are wired to fear serpents, a reasonable adaptation given the risk they posed over millions of years. Fascinating research shows that even objects that vaguely resemble snakes can provoke stress responses in monkeys. This reaction likely stems from the deadly risk snakes posed. Any primate lacking the ability to recognize this danger would not survive to pass on their genetic material. Now, what if the Uncanny Valley arises from a similar instinct? A mechanism designed to help us identify and be wary of other humans, ones who looked like us but weren't. The notion of the Uncanny Valley implies that at some point there was a valid reason to develop a fear of faces that evoke a human likeness. But who or what were we afraid of? Throughout much of our evolution, we were not solitary. Homo sapiens did not emerge in an empty world. We shared it with various other hominins and distantly related species. Importantly, our ancestors weren't always at the top of the food chain. Often they were prey rather than predators. If you think Africa feels dangerous now, consider the extreme conditions our ancestor, Homo erectus, faced. They dealt with massive saber-toothed cats ready to pounce, territorial hippos willing to attack, and numerous other frightening creatures. But we didn't evolve solely alongside animals. We cohabited spaces with various hominids. Our erectus forebears would have encountered others such as Homo habilis and Homo rudolfensis. While closely related, each posed a unique risk. Confusing a group of habilis pursuers with family on a hunt could spell doom. Yet, the landscape also hosted an assortment of odd lineages. Small-bodied Oralopithecines existed around 2 million years ago, looking quite peculiar with chimp-sized brains and an upright stance. Imagine after a tiresome day of hunting, you're resting while your children play. You glance over and see a slim figure enticing your child away. Before you grasp your spear, the agile creature snatches your child and vanishes into the darkness. While parenting today holds its own fears, our ancestors may have faced real child predators seeking to harm their young. Other species, like paranthropines, likely acted as passive observers. Some researchers liken them to the cows of their lineage, designed for consuming plant matter. While they may not have preyed on our children, their presence must have been unsettling. They walked upright and shared familial ties, yet their features felt different. Large jaws, sloping foreheads, and tiny, wiry bodies were stark reminders that they were not us. But they were not alone. Distant primates also prowled the world, including ancestors of chimpanzees and gorillas. Fossils from these species exist primarily in East Africa, indicating frequent encounters. Today's timid species evolved in part due to human influence and hunting technology. But 2 million years ago, they likely did not fear us. Alongside that, there were unusual primates in Africa, such as the massive baboon-like Doicus, a source of nightmares. With enormous canines, some males weighed over 170 pounds. Picture their formidable quadrupedal stance, fangs gleaming. Encountering aggressive groups of these creatures would indeed be terrifying. Another unnerving species was Theopithecus, which survives today in smaller numbers within Ethiopia. During the era of Homo erectus, they were significantly larger, with some males weighing up to 160 pounds, whereas most Homo erectus males probably weighed around 130 to 140 pounds. Despite their formidable presence, evidence suggests that Homo erectus may have hunted these creatures young as prey. Explore this video next for more insight. What this reveals is that our ancestors were not mere passive observers. They engaged in the harsh realities of their environments. Fast-forwarding hundreds of thousands of years, Homo sapiens rose to prominence. Yet, we weren't alone in this venture. In Africa, we coexisted with Homo naledi, a species blending primitive and modern characteristics. Although living beside them for hundreds of thousands of years, no evidence of interbreeding has surfaced as of now. We found remains only in a single South African cave. It seems these quirky hominins even held burial practices. Moving west, we encountered yet another hominin, though no fossils have been discovered to date. We recognize them through the DNA of contemporary West Africans, suggesting they may have interbred around 50,000 years ago. There remains much to learn about this hominin, and we hold out hopes for fossil evidence soon. As our species ventured beyond Africa, our encounters became even more extraordinary. To the north and west, we met Neanderthals, known for their considerable strength and intellect. Our long and complex history with Neanderthals began over 100,000 years ago in Western Asia. As Homo sapiens spread throughout Europe, interbreeding with Neanderthals became commonplace. Early modern humans adopted Neanderthal features, although over time, many of these traits faded from the population. According to current genetic data, Europeans possess less than 2% Neanderthal DNA, while Asian populations retain slightly higher percentages. However, Asia is also the home to another elusive lineage, the Denisovans. This group has proven particularly mysterious until recently, when a skull was unearthed. For further understanding of this fascinating discovery, check out that video next. Venturing further into Southeast Asia, we encountered the diminutive Homo floresiensis, known as hobbits, and Homo luzonensis, another small-bodied species. Despite the vast differences separating modern humans from these species, we certainly did not only harbor fear. Evidence confirms interbreeding between modern humans and at least 3 distinct groups: Neanderthals, Denisovans, and an unidentified 4th hominin in Africa. So what implications does this have for the Uncanny Valley? If this instinct developed to protect us from other human-like beings, why did we also feel compelled to interbreed? Could this duality clarify why near-human faces elicit such complex reactions, both fear and curiosity? There are several hypotheses that may shed light on the intricacies of the Uncanny Valley. Each potentially traces back to fundamental survival needs. One hypothesis revolves around disease avoidance. In an era lacking medicine, doctors, and an understanding of germs, newcomers were often seen as threats, possibly harboring illness. Interestingly, we've inherited genital herpes, presumably from Paranthropus over 2 million years ago. Could this represent a true failure of our instincts? Recognizing even subtle signs of sickness might spell the difference between life and death. Pale skin, peculiar eyes, unnatural movements, or even shifts in one's demeanor could signal danger. In this context, what symbolizes the ultimate infectious risk? A corpse, eerily human yet void of life. This brings us to another theory, identifying the dead. For early humans, the presence of the deceased could indicate a range of dangers, from disease to lurking predators. Quickly recognizing when a kin had perished was vital. Our brains might have evolved to discern life's fragile line, reacting strongly to anything near that boundary. Faces that appear animated yet slightly off-kilter may trigger these alarm signals. Horror films skillfully employ pale, lifeless skin and erratic movements to evoke fear, tapping directly into those ancient instincts. Lastly, there's a third idea worth examining: enemy recognition. For hundreds of thousands of years, our ancestors didn't simply encounter leopards, hyenas, or saber-tooths. They contended with fellow humans. Some of these were rival Homo sapiens bands, while others belonged to Neanderthals, Denisovans, or late Homo erectus survivors. They offered enough resemblance to deceive the eyes, yet differences activated caution. Distinguishing between friend and foe wasn't only about skin color or attire. It implicated reading facial expressions, postures, and movements, especially when stakes were perilous. A Neanderthal entering your territory, or an Australopithecus lurking near your family, could be life-threatening. The Uncanny Valley may have developed as a finely tuned alert system, an instinct for assessing almost human faces to gauge potential threats. This could have aided ancient humans in recognizing the real danger of other hominins, elucidating the urgency of this instinct. One wonders, could this instinct have played a role in the extinction of other human species? Possibly. Wherever we traveled, local hominins faced extinction. Despite occasional interbreeding, evidence suggests this was not a widespread occurrence. Even in contemporary times, humans display a propensity to approach others with hostility, possibly explaining the fate faced by other human species. So where does this leave us today? In our modern society, we seldom encounter the threats that forged our primal instincts. Most of us will never grapple for survival over food or territory. We no longer share the planet with Neanderthals or Denisovans, yet that fear persists. You can sense someone's presence in a dim room, even when there's no one there. You pick up on subtle cues in wax museums or horror films. It's the same visceral jolt, an instinct steeped in time. Perhaps it is one remnant of a prehistoric world filled with unimaginable threats, a time when humans were never truly alone. Seeing another upright figure in the dark could spell death or worse. Perhaps that's why this fear endures. It kept us alive long ago. Thank you for watching. If you found this exploration of the eerie side of human evolution intriguing, please hit that like button. Share your thoughts on the Uncanny Valley in the comments and subscribe for more stories like this. I look forward to seeing you next time.